So people were like, so you like don't like people? I'm like, no, I just don't like people when I'm working out.
I was one of the greatest things I thought was when the over-the-head headphones came out, and I was like, oh, I can just put these on.
It doesn't stop people. They're like
noise canceling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
wow, we would have never believed this. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google. Go out there and listen to us. So we're excited about it. We're glad you're excited about it too. Muscles matters because they do matter, Steve.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, muscles do matter. We're here today with Bart Tipton.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you may have seen Bart's advertisement coming into your mailbox, and I always look for it, and I always tell Bart, I see that smiling face, and I get to find out how much my house is worth.
Yes, that is true. I try to get a little help on that.
Yeah. So how is that real estate market in Bakersfield?
It's a little slow right now.
Yeah.
But, things will pick up.
Yeah.
As soon as those interest rates go back down, then things will go good.
Yeah. We're counting on Joe Biden to do that, right, Steve? Yes, Steve says yes.
I got stuck because it was right there.
He doesn't want one of those IRS agents coming after him. They carry guns now. So we're glad you joined in. Muscle matters because they do matter. We're here to talk today about just some of the things that we deal with because we know you're probably dealing with something. And Steve and Bart, can I say this? Because we've all started training. Steve, when did you started pumping some iron?
17 is when I officially started.
How about you, Bart?
15.
15. I was 13. And so we've all there, but now I think I'm the elder of the group. I'm 64, going on 65, and I'm not going to ask you guys how old you're. But we're on some medication now, and they're called beta blockers, and they're called pump killers. Is that a good description of them?
Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah. So you when you start having some problems with your heart, they start doing some interesting things, and I love the fact that we have medicine. And one of the reasons we're having Bart on is Bart went through pharmaceutical school.
Yep.
How many years did that take?
Many moons ago.
Yeah, but how many years did it take to get through it?
Like 6.
6 years,
Yeah.
and you were a pharmacist for 20 years.
Yes. Yeah.
And loving every minute, right?
Not so much. And that's what I do now. So
Yes, that's why you
I
moved
do
into-
love this, but back then, yeah, it was a little.
Well, you get to get out. You couldn't
Yeah, I
go
know.
nowhere.
You get in a 10-foot by 10-foot box all
Yeah.
day and
Sick
count
people
by
walk in.
fives. And, yeah.
Well,
Where's the toilet paper at? So.
if you go back to season 1, you'll see Bart's episode on lunch break, and Bart talks about walking the street, pounding the pavement that first time, right?
Yeah.
Going up, knocking on doors, and that seems like an eon ago, doesn't it?
Yep, that was my first client. It was probably 100 degrees out, and I was knocking on doors, and I think I turned my back, and she saw my shirt completely drenched. She goes, she called later that day. She goes, me and my husband think you're a hard worker. We want you. So I was like, all right, that's good.
So
now I just carry a water bottle with me all day long to squirt around. So
I know Prestige Real Estate has a great name in town, and a lot of people love Bart, and they love your wife Tracy.
yes,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. So she's working in now the business too, right?
She's got her license, but she's a high school counselor.
Yeah.
So she loves that
She's
job.
still in education, right?
No, she loves that.
Yeah. No. Well, it's all in the family. So we're talking about muscles today. Steve, kind of share with me, kind of just catch our audience up on your route with this and what brought you into the beta blocker world.
And great big oops. It was a very huge oops. My heart went to 250, and it wasn't coming back down.
Yeah. That's a weird feeling, isn't it?
Yes, but you realize, I puked.
Oh, wow.
Put my little finger on the knob, my phone, it said 250, and I went, that's not good. I sat down.
right?
There's obviously something wrong with this phone.
Exactly.
I sat
This is
down,
not
took a
working.
really deep breath, and I said, breathe again, drink a little water, try it again, 250. Well, this is probably time to drive to the heart hospital.
Yeah.
So I drove to the heart hospital, and they shut me off. It was kind of like a nervous feeling when they tell you, they turned off my heart to turn me back on because the medication wouldn't overcompensate for the products that were in my system. Yeah. So my heart would not come back down. It would not slow down because of what I had in my system. And being told that we're going to put you to sleep They were going to zap you back to awake.
You don't understand. I just came in for a quick checkup and a little jump. You know.
And the funny thing is, it was two funny things. When they put me to sleep, and apparently they zapped me. I didn't realize they zapped me. And I started screaming at the doctor, wait, I'm waking up. I'm not asleep. He goes, oh, no, you're back. And apparently when they zapped me, I swung at the nurse that zapped me.
Oh.
And missed, obviously.
I missed because he said he wouldn't come back in the room.
Not with this monster on the table. Look at the guns.
I was like, well, apparently I was sleeping good. But it was a giant oops. And it was just, I had forgotten that I had some fat burning supplements in my system, and a guy came by. I own the supplement store, and he came
Where's
by.
Where's that at?
7420 District Boulevard, right across the street from Nestle. Yep. Come on by, check us out. And it was really interesting because he came by and he was handing me samples, and I'm like, okay, and I'm just trying these samples, completely forgetting that I had the yohimbines and a couple other herbs in my system because I wasn't feeling them anymore because it was no longer 6 a.m.
Yeah,
right.
So, and then my heart went, hey, buddy, guess what's still in here? Yeah.
I was heading over the grapevine. I hit Tejon, and all of a sudden my eyeballs opened, and my doctor told me that my valve stuck open. I have a defective valve on my my mitral valve, and then my heart started trying to close the valve, which it wasn't able to do. So I actually drove all the way to Cedars-Sinai, which I was going to anyways, for a physical. So when I got there and I drove the slow lane because I felt I was going to swerve off and either hurt somebody or myself. So I just drove behind the truck. I was that guy that day. The truck driver's probably like, what the heck is this guy following me for? I was just like in the slow lane. And when I got there, it was about, I think it was 270. And they sent me straight over to the cardiologist. And then I was told, hey, you don't work out and you might not be able to work out ever again. So we're going to help you and get you through this. And I think those were the worst words I've ever heard in my life. There are those of us that are, we have iron poisoning. We love to work out. It was bad. But good news is, as I walked into the gym one day, I got to run into my friend Bart Tipton. And I looked at Bart and I said, I started whining. And he asked me if I wanted some cheese with that wine. And he really didn't. But he said, I'm on heart medication too. And that struck me, Bart, because I've always seen you, and you are an epitome of health. There again, you're in the gym all the time. You're working out, and you, when you told me that, gave me hope. Really did. I think I told you that.
Well, good. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm the double nickel, so I got to start thinking about that now too.
I know.
Older as I get.
I know.
But yeah, my family history. My dad had a heart attack at age 47. My brother passed away. He had heart issues, but that was more congenital from birth. And then my blood pressure started going up, and I was like, okay, let's not even get there. Let's do a little preventative stuff. So they put me on some cholesterol medication, some blood pressure medication, and here I am. So.
And so what did that do to your workout?
You know what? The medicine I'm on, it's a calcium channel blocker. So it doesn't do a lot. It just sometimes will make you a little bit more tired than anything else. But the beta blockers, that's definitely those are hard.
They're pump killers.
Yeah, no, they stop your heart from going any further. So even if you need to do that when you exercise, it's not going to let it happen. So
as Steve and I are here, we're the lab rats because we're both doing beta blockers. I love Steve's idea. And what the cool thing is that there's hope that you can still train. I mean, you were my hope that day. I was like, what the heck? You're on something? Maybe I can. And at that time, I think I was violating my doctor's orders because I was in the gym. I had permission to walk.
No.
But I stretched the walking into some weights and stuff like that. But there was hope. And I don't know when you found the hope, Steve, because you're still obviously lifting heavy because you got the guns to show for it.
It was took a year and a half. It really took a year and a half. I would run out of gas. And because, I don't know how you felt about it, but because I scratched my heart, like it's a muscle. Yeah. And I did some damage to it. And unfortunately, it's the only muscle that doesn't get to rest.
Yeah.
So for a year and a half, I would feel like, go sit down somewhere, shut up, boy.
It was
scary.
Yeah.
I tried to convince my wife when the doctor said don't lift more than 20 pounds. She would go to Costco and I'd look at it and she'd want me to carry the water bottles in. I go, I need to weigh that because my wife was so good to me, but she did say, I want the old Tom back. She did. She goes, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I need the old Tom back.
Yeah, it's hard when you put the kibosh on something you've been doing for 40 years. And
Well, you know what I think it is? I think we all come to a point where we find out what is that real important thing. You know, because I did some soul searching. I mean, I had anxiety, I had depression. You know, I mean, and I'm not saying I'm glad I went through it, but I was glad I came out of it. You know, a lot of people deal with anxiety and depression. You know, we got a chance to talk to Doug Brignoli, who said he dealt with that, and Doug passed away 2 days after our interview, and that show dropped last week, and a lot of good reviews on that show. You check it out on Lunch Break. We also have Doug on Muscle Matters. But I was glad I went through it because it gave me a chance to readjust my priorities. I was able to say that living is probably better than, you know,
the alternative.
Yes.
Right.
And if it took a sacrifice, I mean, I thought, hey, my time in the gym was good. And if it comes back, I feel that's a blessing. And I've been able to train. I've learned a lot, though, Steve and Bart, about myself when I work out. Because the old antage or the old rep set schemes don't work for me anymore. Because I can't lift heavy. I mean, you know, that's one of the things, you know, with me, I do have a defective heart valve. And they've said don't put a lot of back pressure on the valve because it will blow it open. And guess what?
You're back in there.
Yeah. so I'm always there. So, you know, I've went to different kind of set rep schemes. But I found out what worked for me. And I think that's important as you're out there and you may have all kinds of different illnesses. So
yeah, I think you gave me the big hope because when I was trying to still lift heavy, arthritis and the shoulders and everything, and you mentioned do 60s, you know, just 60 reps of, you know, everything you're doing. And that was a big pump. And I loved it. And not hard on my joints or anything like that. So
you know, there again, Bart, I mean, you talk to that because I think that's something that if you're out there and you're older, if you're younger, what I would say, and Steve might even address this a little more, is that it's not if you get injured or you have to make an adjustment. It's usually the when word, right? When you have to make the adjustment.
It's like riding a motorcycle. It's not that you haven't fallen. It's just you haven't fallen yet.
Yes.
Right.
There's riders and riders who've gone down. You get in the gym, it's coming.
Yeah.
But you played basketball, and I think you said, if I remember right, you didn't play football in college, right?
No, not at 170 pounds.
Yeah.
That would have been a little tough.
Yeah. But as you're an athlete, muscles have helped you all through your life and career. You know, they've just, you know, I know because, I mean, your industry has a lot of aesthetic looks to it, you know, the one you're in now. You know, yeah. And so I see your smiling face on TV, and I see it on flat work, and so it is. So you always look fit and healthy, and I see you in the gym. What's that doing for your business?
I don't know. I think being in the gym, I mean, everybody has, you know what discipline is. You know what discipline is. I think just have that mindset of, hey, this is my routine. I don't know what I would do in the morning if I didn't do that before I get ready. It kind of like mentally, you know, prepares you for the day and gets you going and your blood gets going. It's like, okay, now I'm ready to attack.
I noticed you and Tracy come in together and work out together sometimes.
Yes, that's fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, is that something you guys have planned to do together?
Yeah. No, we've been probably a good year and a half, but that's kind of fun. We enjoy it.
Kind of consolidates your time.
It does.
Usage.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we both have headphones on, but I think we can communicate, you know, sign language or something through that.
I live vicariously through Bart's automobiles. I do. In the summertime, he drives a different one to the gym sometimes.
Like my shoe collection, huh? But
yes.
with cars.
Yes.
Okay, I will trade him any day of the week.
Those are nice.
So I live vicariously through that. So you noticed that as you got older, you couldn't lift heavy anymore.
Yep. No. I just kind of came to the conclusion, hey, that ain't going to work anymore. Got to give up.
Yep.
Do that.
And being in a business where you know chemicals, because I think probably one of the biggest temptation in our business is to take something that would alleviate that, right?
Yeah.
Being a pharmacist, did that give you more caution? Like, I don't want that because I know the side effects. We all listen to the commercials nowadays. That if you listen to the end of the commercials.
The riot list.
Yeah.
It's a riot list.
You're like,
that's 3/4 of the commercial now. It's like,
Yeah. So I, there again, I mean, we're all in the athletic world, and we all know this. I mean, PEDs are rampant out there, and so in your first profession, did it ever, you know, say, hey, I if I did this, it would make it better?
You know what? I'd like to say yes, but no, no, I don't think so.
Well,
I mean,
what's encouraging about that is to know that temptation is not a sin.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, right? I mean, it's just.
It's hard to compare yourself to other people. I mean, it's like, look
We're
at
guys.
that thing and
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things,
yeah.
and
I'm
that's hard.
I'm blessed from God. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. That's all that is.
And so as we go and you get a chance to talk to people, and I'm telling it for me. I just want to tell you that day it blessed me to realize that as I saw you and I saw that you're still retaining a high degree of muscle mass, that there was hope. You know, and there again, I mean, I didn't ever want to come back in at a high body a BPI. And I'll say this. I guess a lot of us got into this not to be normal, right?
It's a great facade you put on. You zip up the suit, and it's yes.
Right. Even you, Bart. I mean, it's like, as you're out there. I mean, as men, we like to lift weights.
Yeah.
And we like to deal with that, and it just is.
You create your own superhero.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Bart and I also get to deal with something that I don't know if you ever get to deal with, but we compare our skin.
Our multi-skin cancers that
they're
we've
willing
had.
away at Bart and I slowly.
Yeah, I could put a zipper on my.
Well, but I think that's what you do also to ourselves.
Yeah.
Tanning beds, right?
Yep. Many years of that
Yes.
did not pay off.
And it wasn't like we were told that it was going to be safe for us. So people were like, hey, you should watch this.
Yeah.
I did. My dermatologist told me when I was 21 that you're going to pay for this, Tom. And he was right.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, our first day you came in and you showed me your head.
No, I got 22 stitches here and 15 here and 18 here, all cut. But at least you can't tell a whole bunch. But yeah,
Well, you almost become like that scene on Jaws. Like this over here.
Yeah, exactly. When they're comparing scars.
Yeah. But that's part of sometimes what we do, right, Steve?
It makes us who we are. Driven.
What changes did you make for working out? Like for me, I went to a very interesting but I had to tap into all my resources. Bart, I tapped into my previous training methods, realizing that I like to lift weight. I realized that was going to leave my wheelhouse, so I started to go back into some old routines. And I've come up with something that has been really well for me. My doctors a while back told me that I could lift a little heavier. Little did they know I was already lifting a little heavier. So I thought, lifting a little heavier, they don't know how much I'm lifting. So I'll just, take it, then I can lift heavier. So my wife pulled the reins in on me. She's like, Tom, you can't do that. And I was like, well, they said I could. She goes, I know, but you're cheating. And then I was. But, my wife called me out on it.
So we shouldn't say anything about you doing 3 plates on the bench last week,
I wish.
right?
I mean, I can't remember that day. But as I am going in the free weight room, like I told you, I ventured in the other day, and I got out on it, and I lifted some real iron or metal or plastic dumbbells. But I'm going to a set rep scheme, which is a little lower, which allows me to train a little higher or heavier. But then I'll only do it 2 days a week, because then I need to go to some of the higher, just the more of a higher rep to put just blood into my muscles and still allow stimulation.
Overlooked a concept. When you were asking me about that how I had to change my training, it was very interesting with the beta. I went from being 3-hour alpha male, 30 seconds in between each set, just being able to bang, 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 and just sitting down. It was weird. Even to this day, squatting is 5 reps. I don't care if it's 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates. It is 5. The number 5 comes and my body goes, that's it. Really? I really can't grind past 5.
My wife told me, Tom, you need to start walking. So my first venture to walking was one time around my pool. I was like, but I'm doing a mile a day now. And so, but it's been 2.5 years.
So baby steps.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And I remember trying to figure out, okay, I won't take my beta blockers before I go to the gym. Oh. And the heart rate just stays up there, and it just stays up there, and it stays up there. Interesting thing about beta blockers, they control your heart rate.
Yes.
My doctor failed to let me know that.
Yeah, it's Steve, I love your comparison. It is a regulator on your heart. I mean, I come in and I'm just like getting it, and all of a sudden I get there and I put my hands on the heart monitors, which I know aren't always accurate. And I told you this today. Some guy came up and looked over and goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah. If you stick around, I might get to 113 beats a minute." I mean, I'd come in hot at 140, before this.
Yeah.
But you can survive, And I think the biggest thing is the learning to survive, because we all know exercise is good for us.
Yeah, I remember going kickboxing. It was a buddy of mine convinced me to go with him, do some rounds. And it was 3 years afterwards. I was nervous to go open up. And I went in there and I opened up, had a great time. That's where I found out beta blockers control your heart rate. I went in there, opened up, had 4 or 5 rounds. We went for about an hour, and I was enjoying myself, went home, eating, and I went, ow. Ow, 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 ow. Oh. It was hurting. I checked my heart rate, and I was still at 110. And I'm like, that was over an hour ago. Mm-hmm. I popped the pill. 20 minutes later, I'm at 70. I told my doctor, I said, "Hey, doc, does this control my heart rate?" He goes, "Yes, it does, Steve." I go, "Need to know information."
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember when I finally figured out what they were trying to do to me. I think I even talked to you about it. Because they were doing dosages up slowly. And so when I found out, "What are we trying to do, doc?" He goes, "We're trying to slow your heart down." I go, "So, FYI, I spent my life trying to increase the strength of my heart. So you probably need to up the dose a lot for this next round," because I was going, 2 weeks at a low dose, and my heart was still racing out of control. Yeah. My head was hurting, and so I was like, if you want to save my life, do it quickly. And the great thing was I had a lot of good people in my life. Dr. Nalos, Jeet Singh, we had him on the show, and they were telling me it'd be okay listening to you, and it was funny because I needed that in my life. And I think sometimes when people, or especially men, think we don't need others, we need other people. When I found out you're on a beta blocker, my eyes popped open. I go, "You're my hero." I you could still look great and be on beta blockers. And then my doctor put me on the statin, and that took another little stroll down. And I told him, I go, "Let me get a chance to lower my cholesterol on my own." And since I wasn't the same guy that I was, that didn't work either. So he just knew it wouldn't. And so I am. And I thank God for my doctors and the medicine. I really do. Because I've come to the fact that it's like, you can't live that life all the time. You can't be 21, can't be 35, can't be 40. We want to.
Yeah, definitely.
But working out's a very big key. And it's the only, we talk about this all the time, it's the only life extension drug we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we keep fighting it, right? Keep fighting age.
Yep. That's not an easy battle to win, is it?
So what? Go ahead, Steve. I interrupted you.
No, you're good.
No, you were talking about you realized it was a regulator on you.
No, it's okay. I got it out.
Okay. So Bart, tell some of our audience what you do, because I know with me, I know I found a sweet spot with my working out, and it's 25 minutes, and it's now that I don't walk while I'm in the gym, I can cut it down to 20 minutes because I walk when I'm home now. Right. I got a new dog, so I'm like walking the dog. We're in a St. Jude 50-mile challenge, and I'm wondering if my dog can make the 50. I know he's a great dog, but I'm just saying I don't do the cardio at the gym anymore. I go home and do it, which I'm getting to know my neighbors now.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
I went down the street, and I like Volkswagens, and my neighbor's garage door was open, and he had a 67 original, and I'm like, drove it in high school. He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Run." He goes, "Like kidding right now." And I never knew this until I started walking down the street.
There's some cool people out there when you start talking to them, isn't it?
Yep. Well, I mean, there again, you can still have a relationship with your neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. So tell us a little bit about what you do to your workout methods. I see you guys in the gym, and I always bother him. I mean, I always go up and say, "I don't want to bother you."
Oh, I remember the fun days that Steve was talking about. 2 hours at the gym, just grinding it out, no stops. That was fun. Now it's probably, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes on weights, and it's just more light reps than anything else. Just going for that because I know it's the big stuff isn't going to help anymore. The arthritis sets in, and then I start complaining, and then you're going to have to put some cheese with my wine.
What was the thing that clicked for you?
No, serious about lighter reps.
Oh, well, that's because I was getting older.
Yeah, and that was a big save for me too, because it was I had to mentally. I just wanted to keep with the heavy weights, and
And I think that's not a fallacy because you do have to hit some stimulation.
It's male ego though. It's
It is.
You look over and you see somebody doing something like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Then
your pec ends up on the side of your shoulder. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's right. That guy was 25.
Now we're all going to talk about this, and Ed is back there going to be on our next show. Set some big records this weekend. When the young guy comes over, and they'll say, "Sir," I'm like, "You have nothing to tell me, but go ahead because I see you're going to. You're not doing complete movements." I go, "I know. I'm doing that on purpose because part of my muscles and my tendons, they no longer attach. And I'm doing partial movements because of that. But I thank you for considering instructing me on how to do a proper exercise. And trust me, I did that when I was your age."
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, there's moments there you're like,
when you were that age, did you ever think you were going to be?
You know, when I was, no, of course. And we had people tell us, don't do that because you're going to hurt yourself. We're like,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't squat, don't dead, right? Dead over there. I mean, we all heard it and we're always like, yeah, I should have listened to some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Could have saved us some injuries. But you do it anyways because, like you said, you're young and you want to look good in a T-shirt and you want to look good and you want to lift some weights. And, it's great to push iron around because we've all done it, right?
Yeah.
And it's all great. It's great. But there's a point where it has to, be the less priority, And I think the pandemic did it for me. Because, we no longer could go to the gym. You guys could because you guys got friends that own gyms. Yeah. And so I had to bring my gym to the house. But I had my 18-year-old son-in-law, who wasn't my son-in-law then, coming over. And my wife had to get on to me one time. I told Steve because I wasn't going to give up. And my wife goes, "Hey, Tom, who's going to cry uncle first, you or Danny?" And I go, "I don't know, not me." She goes, "You need to do it. You need to be the bigger person. Because you guys, Tessa's saying he's limping too home." And I go, "Good."
My friend sent his 19-year-old son to work out with me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to grind this kid in the dirt." And somewhere along the line, I was like, "Hey, man, throw in the towel."
the inner man speaks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And probably another half hour of cardio. That's about it. So I do enjoy that. I mean,
Will you put your headphones on? Do you listen to podcasts?
Not so much. It's just
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should. That would have been a good way to learn a language. I could have learned about 10 by now. So,
yeah. Only thing I ever got learned from in the gym was how to say the bad words correctly when something didn't go right.
Right.
Yeah. I got called out in the magazines one time because it was when the Walkmans were around. That was when the dinosaurs walked the earth.
Yeah.
And I would wear it. And Flex magazine asked me what kind of music I listen to. And I go, "The secret is I don't listen to music. I just don't want people talking to me." They wrote it in the magazine. So people were like, "So you don't like people?" I'm like, "No, I just don't like people when I'm working out."
I was one of the greatest things I thought was when the over-the-head headphones came out, and I was like, "Oh, I can just put these on."
Doesn't stop people. They're like
noise canceling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, when I became the man of the gym, that was the bane
we
of my
love
workouts.
the people at the gym. We do. I love to minister to people at the gym, but I'm just saying.
Not why I'm lifting weights.
Yes. There's a different mentality in us that was coming up, and Ed will speak into this because it's almost like stealing from us, right? I mean, do you steal that way still? I look at it now, if someone's talking to me about church, that is actively engaging in a conversation. They don't talk to me about working out. I send them to you. I got a young kid at the gym going, I go, "Hey, I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine." Because I mean, at that point, I mean, my knowledge is old school knowledge.
Right.
So somebody asked me the other day, they go, "So what about the carnivore diet?" I go, "So you're talking about the all protein diet before it was the Atkins diet. Before it was, before it's carnivore now."
It's amazing. They think they reinvent the wheel.
I was like, I go, it all works. I mean, but it's a phase. It's a cycle. It's like, it's not meant to stay on.
So you're not supposed to eat bull parts and get all antibiotic from that way?
Well, I guess they're suing the Liver King. I guess some of the people who listen to him.
Well, I'd sue him too if I put that stuff in my mouth.
honestly, it's like, really? Yeah, we've taken some bad stuff. Ed's back there. We're right, Bart.
Yeah.
Even when you're a pharmacist, you probably, took some supplements that
there may have been. Yes.
That didn't taste good. And when he started eating elk male parts,
yes.
I mean, somebody had to. Where would you buy that at? I mean,
what would possess you? But I mean, like the thought of what you're putting in your, like, no. I remember when I found out, what did they call it? The Rocky Mountain oysters?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said, Steve, you want Rocky Mountain oysters? I found out what they were, and I went, no, never.
Well,
I will sooner starve.
Well, my grandpa in Nebraska, my brother and I were cheap labor for him during the summer. And we'd come back there, and they'd do something to little male pigs. And that night we had spaghetti. And I can't tell you that I was smart enough to get the joke my grandpa was getting ready to play. When it came by and I had some spaghetti and sauce on it, they said, "Hey, you want some meatballs?" I go, "No, I'm not looking at it." My brother said, "I'll eat his part too." And so at the end of the meal, my grandpa goes, "Hey, thank you guys for helping us with the meal tonight." And we're like, "What?" And he goes, "Well, we just, we needed your guys' participation in the meatballs." And we were like looking at each other like we're stupid. He goes, "Hey, remember what you're doing?" And I'm like, "Oh no!" But my brother went outside and puked. And I didn't eat him. And he's like, "How'd you know? You knew?" And I go, "I didn't know. I just wasn't hungry. I didn't want him." So my grandpa. But before my mom got there, his daughter, he says, "So, we're just going to keep all this between ourselves, right?"
You see, you're giving me fodder for the boys.
Yeah.
I'm going to have meatballs with the boys. They're going to have so
You got to
much
have
fodder.
little pigs to have the little meatballs with the boys.
I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen.
I love that stuff. What else, Bart? What else has, athletics taught you through the years that you still use as you're still in real estate?
Probably competitiveness.
Ooh.
I don't know.
You're not competitive,
And
are you?
ego, and unfortunately the ego gets in the way, but competitiveness, yeah.
So I'm going to brag on Bart.
Because my dad was a coach
Yeah.
for a couple of different sports in high school, and
You guys fact checking me on this. Look up Prestige Real Estate.
or Prestige Properties.
Yeah, Prestige Properties. I mean, he's at the top. He's like the top dog in Bakersfield. Do you ever worry about somebody knocking you off?
Every day.
Is that what motivates you to go back out there and keep going?
Every day.
I like
Yep.
it. He has a lot of the nice properties. When I say nice properties, it's not my house.
Yours would fit nicely.
In a different zip code than Tommy's house.
So I can't break the piggy bank and call him.
But I love what Bart does because he's done it the hard way. I mean, he gave up a very lucrative profession that a lot of people after 6 years in college would have said, "I'm done."
Not to mention, he said he's walking. I did Kirby's for like a summer, and that didn't work for me. So, yeah, when you said walking around and knocking on doors with your back straight, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I had to get your name out somewhere, so start from scratch.
Yes.
You had to fake it before you make it, so.
And then keep faking it too.
Yeah.
No, I'm teasing you, Bart.
But no, it's.
But so competitiveness.
Yeah.
Is the real estate market competitive?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because why is it if somebody, I'm on a soapbox, so can I get on a soapbox? So a lot of people, when they can't make it in other careers, come into the ministry. Like, hey, I'm going to preach God's word now and, do that. And I'm like, well, I'm not sure how it works, but if it works for you, good. But do you see people doing that in the real estate profession?
Yeah.
Something else isn't working. I'll jump in because everybody else is like, backing up their car, shoveling in the cash and going to the bank, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, when I started 10 years ago, there was probably 800 real estate agents. Now there's 2,000. So, yeah, it's pretty easy to get your license. But it's, I think, 6% of the agents do 94% of the business. It's really skewed. Yeah.
Well, but it's because you've earned it. It's like I always tell people that if I'm recommending anybody in town with lifting or physical fitness needs, I send them to Steve because I can trust him. I know he won't lie to them. I know that he won't steer them astray. And I tell him every time I talk to somebody. The other day I met two guys at church said, "Oh, I love Steve. Steve always steers us straight." And I'm like, "That's who he is." But he's earned that reputation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And he has
it doesn't come overnight, does it?
And he has a pretty amazing collection of shoes. He has shoes like you have cars.
I saw your kicks tonight.
Yes.
That was pretty bad.
Yes, I am a
those.
sneakerhead. I'm a child of the 80s.
Very cool.
Mom wasn't buying me shoes, so I'm living vicariously in my later life with my sneaker collection.
And I always brag on him because, if he'd help somebody with a meal prep plan or something, all he wants is a pair of sneakers. But a nice pair. Because it's, and we all believe this. I mean, if you're out there and you're looking for some free help, you probably don't really want help because if it doesn't cost you something, it doesn't.
There's no value.
There's no value in it. And I think people realize that. And that's what I like about your shoe deal.
Yeah.
I like that. Well,
Get a couple pairs of Jordans, and I'll be ready to go.
Hey, I might know a person.
Steve, you say something, and then Bart, you got the last word. Talk us out.
Well, I'm happy that somebody's here, and I'd like to dive deeper in another episode about the different types of chemicals that are out there and how it affects the hearts and different things. Like I said, when I went into the heart hospital, they actually did a case study on me, and they messed me up. Is why I ended up on medication. We'll save that for another episode. They messed me up. Is why I ended up on the medication. They were writing a research paper on me.
Really?
And I didn't find this out till I started training a doctor.
You can't get on beans.
Yeah. Well, I just thought the other doctor was upset that they didn't get to see me. They just weren't on the research paper. So they sabotaged me to make me crash, and everything went back out of socket. So I had to stay another 2 days in the hospital.
Huh.
Yeah, so I just different things like that. I would like to, like I said, the beta blockers, things like that, just so we can. So what I'm basically trying to get him back on this show, I would like for you guys to leave some comments and questions regarding different things you might be taking, different medications out there. If you have more questions about the beta blockers, more things like that. If you're on some sort of medication and you're feeling like you're a little off, we've got an excellent source of it right here. But if you don't leave a comment or ask a question down below, we won't know, and we won't be able to get him back.
You always know how to do this. You are the expert at this. Bart, would you think about coming back and maybe answering some questions?
Yeah,
I love that.
I'll have to get a pump
and buy
on.
a house.
I'll have to get a pump on before I get sit between you two mega behemoths.
No, you don't have to.
That's
do
the tough part. I was like, why am I put in the middle here?
I'm going to have to sit between him and Ed Martinez, and that's not going to be fun for the next episode. But Bart, thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
But we are going to have back. I would love to have him and Dr. Collins on at the same time.
Yes.
Kurt's neat guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like him.
We need to do that. Where's our producer?
I think he's in Panama right now.
Huh?
I saw he was on Facebook. He's in Panama right now or something.
Oh,
is it?
Yeah. Yeah, probably doing stem cell.
Yep.
So, thank you again,
Allegedly.
Bart. Allegedly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Hey, so glad you dropped in. If you're needing anything, go out, check out Sportslanders West on District Boulevard.
7420 District Boulevard. Hope to see you soon.